Yeah.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. So yes, I have. I've done the assessment, the one that was sent via SMS. I got it both on SMS and email. I've done that.
Okay.
I've listened to the podcast, but I think I want to listen to the podcast again. So I listened just to hear what the person teaching was saying. So I think I need to listen again to learn more. So I don't think it's something I just want to listen just once, and I think I want to listen to it again so that I will be able to put pen to paper. Yes, thank you, ma.
All right, that's awesome. Great. Yeah, thank you for your response. And also, have you do you mind sharing your results? How was the assessment that you took? Do you mind sharing a bit of your results with us, with everyone?
All right, thank you. Yeah, so after submitting my result, so I came out being a squirrel. Hello, can you hear me? Hello.
Yes, we can hear
Yeah,
you.
yes, please
Oh,
go
okay,
on.
okay, okay. From the result, it was I got that I was a squirrel, so my current reality is survival and response. So that is my current reality, and it's something I think I've known it for a while, but I just need a structure around it. So that is why I'm here. I just want to learn and grow, because from the result given, it is what it is currently. Yes, thank you, ma.
All right, thank you so much. And yeah, I'm glad to know your current stand on your finances. And I'm sure through in the course of tonight's session, yes, you gain clarity and you know what step to take forward. So I just want to hear from one more person, Miss Wana Edet. Yes. Yeah, I would like to confirm, have you taken the test? I think you shared your test with me already. Yes, you shared the test results. So what can you say about it? What was your experience? And let's hear from you, ma. You can speak, ma. Okay, I guess it's a network. I can't hear. Okay, so who else wants to share his or her results with us? Okay, so Loretta Chima says she didn't receive. Okay, please kindly just drop a message on the group. I would send you the assessment, the link to the assessment and the podcast. Yes, and every other thing that is needed. Just drop a message on the WhatsApp group that you didn't receive the assessment, then I will send it to you via your DM. Thank you. Yeah, so who else wants to share with us? Who wants to share your test results with us? And if also you're having issues or you've not been able to access the podcast or the assessment. All
Stephen,
right,
can you
so
hear me?
okay, yes. Yes, we can hear you. Kindly speak, ma.
So I'm supposed to be in this meeting. I want to find out if
Yeah,
Mr.
you are
Dayo, is it
supposed to
showing
be
up?
in the meeting. Yeah, you are.
I'm supposed to be in this particular meeting, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, I just wanted to be sure because I was part of this one last week. At least I was thinking it's a different link I'll be joining. So I just want to be sure I'm not in the wrong link. That's
No, you are
why.
not. No, you are not. You're in the right place. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, sir.
All right, ma. Yes, you're in the right place. And thank you once again for joining. Okay, Lord, for my Loretta Chima, I would just drop the link to the WhatsApp group shortly. I'll drop it so you can just join the WhatsApp group directly from here. And everyone, please, I'm dropping two links, and which is very important for our attention. I'm dropping two links right now. Please kindly check the chat section. I'm dropping two links. One is for the assessment for those who have not been able to take it or do the assessments. Please kindly go to the chat section now. I've dropped for the financial archetype diagnostics and the financial operating system blueprint. Yes. Two tasks that is required of everyone to do. Just in case you've not gotten the link to the assessment or you don't know how to go about it. Yes, I've dropped it. So please, if you've not yet taken your assessments, you've not listened to the podcast, it's very necessary to do that because that's two important tasks are needed before the main boot camp. So let's endeavor to do these tasks. Thank you, everyone. So right about now, we'll be going into today's session, and I want to believe we are ready. Yeah, and we are with our notepads and our minds. Yes, more importantly, our minds. We are ready with our mind. Yeah, we are ready to grab what our coach is ready to share. So thank you so much, Coach Dari. You are welcome, sir.
All right. Thank you so much, Lua. That was great. I hope we can all hear me. Can we all hear me? Ore, can you hear me? Everybody,
Yes,
can you hear me?
yes, I can hear you, sir.
Okay. Thank you so much. It's good to see you all here. My name is Darius Okumbi. I'm the convener of this meeting. All right. So, quick one. Ore was asking if you've done your test. So this is it. If you have done your test and you have your results, can you drop it in the chat? I want to know who I am speaking with this evening. I want to know if what I have here are beavers, if what we have here are squirrels. And if not taking the test, I think she has dropped the link. Let's know. I want to know those who are here already. Okay. Do we have beavers in the house? Beavers in the house, drop your message. Squirrels, okay, if you don't want to use those words, you can then decide to say, okay, for those that are squirrels, you can say, um, I am financially reactive or reactive financial operating system. And for the other ones that are beavers, you are accumulative. Okay, I want to know those who are here this evening. Just drop it in the chat. I'm still looking for your chats. Please drop, 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 drop. Wow, is good. Okay, beaver, beautiful beaver. All right, B for beautiful, B for beaver. Who else is there? Okay, I want to see your test results. Are we saying so? If you have not taken the test at all, okay, accumulative beaver. So if you have not taken the test at all, say that I'm lost. Just say I'm lost. Just drop there, I'm lost. Then we know you've not taken the test at all. Okay, I've sent my test results. Okay, so that means you don't have a response yet. You can drop the test result here. I can interpret it before I go on. Okay, who else is there? If you've not done yours, just say I'm lost. Once you say I'm lost, we know that you've not gotten the link or the test. Okay, so I've gotten beavers here. I don't have a squirrel. I think someone mentioned earlier there is a squirrel. See, the main idea for this is not to tag you. The main idea for this is to get started with your journey. Okay, favors of SAS, squirrel, beautiful. Okay, so I think Wana or something. Okay, Wana. These test results, may I ask, are these your current experience or this is what you anticipate? Are these your current experience or is this your current experience or this is what you anticipate? I'd like to know. Okay. Current. Okay, so she said it's a current experience. Beautiful. I would have wanted to still have a conversation because from these results, it looks like you're an architect. Okay, but you'll find out more, especially if you have listened to the podcast. Okay. All right. So thank you to everyone who has responded, and thank you to everyone who is making this night. Tonight is a night of shifts. This night is going to be a night of shifts. So wherever you find yourself at right now, you are not going to have the same experience by the end of this class. We are going to tell you how to move from where you currently are to where you should be. You see, most people often think that they'll always get a hang of their finances. They think, okay, with time, everything is going to add up. With time, everything is going to align. But this is a true experience. The true experience is that things don't just align. With finances, things do not just align. Just imagine being a parent, or maybe you become a parent today. Every lesson you need to learn that you have never learned will actually haunt you. In the same way, in our finances, the lessons we need to learn, if we fail to learn the lessons we need to learn, it will haunt us. So, most times we feel, okay, this is how everybody went about it. Some people were not just lucky. That's what most of us think. Some people were not just lucky. But I believe that with this test, you understand that your finances, your financial life is not about luck. Your financial experience is not about luck. It is about taking steps in the right direction. So most people want a result called wealth, but they have opted on the bus called poverty. If you're still reactive with your finances, that's your squirrel, you are on the wrong bus. If you're still a beaver, you are accumulative, you are on the wrong bus. While it makes you feel safe. You see, the last time being a beaver, that's someone who saves his money instead of, has only two buckets. One bucket is for saving, the other bucket is for spending. Someone who has these two buckets of spending their money is running on an operating system that made sense in the 50s and the 60s. Because something happened in 1971. Our currency was no longer backed by gold. And therefore, there was a change. There was a massive shift. So let me show you how that happened. Because when our currency was backed by gold, the same way in which the value of gold went to over $4,000, you see, the value of that commodity that the fiat or the receipt or the cash was attached to was an appreciating asset. But from the 1970s till date, that cash you hold became a depreciating asset. That means that every time you keep that money, it dies. So you are still also on the wrong operating system. Today, we are moving to the architect operating system. And that's what we are going to be talking about today. I'm going to be showing you your financial blueprint. What is a financial blueprint? So I'm also going to run an example here in the course of this program of a financial blueprint. After that, we'll also talk about what you can do. Number one, why you should raise your income by 30% minimum annually. Okay, I'm going to do the maths. You're going to see it here. And also, how do you do that? Three things, three engines that will help you power that move. And finally, I'll show you three things you must pay attention to right now so that you will get the experience you are looking for. Okay, the truth is, you need a change. That's why you're here. And we're going to be talking about it. Welcome once again. My name is Sari Shokumbi. All right, so financial blueprint. If you've gone through the podcast by now, you understand what financial operating system is. A financial operating system is a blueprint and automation framework that governs your finances. The truth is, whether you like it or you know it or not, you are running on an operating system. So for someone who is a squirrel, you are reactive in your finances. You are running on an operating system. It's not serving you. And for most people who are who are running the reactive operating system, what they begin to see is that even when they have those raises, the money still goes. The money is no longer there. And for those who are beavers, who are accumulative, storing the money for the rainy day, a loss is happening to your money while you are not watching. You go back to that bank account, you still see your 3 million naira, you say, I can breathe. I mean, things are working well. But the value of that currency is dying. And for most of the beavers, one of the problems they also find themselves in is that they see that, oh, somebody needs money, the person reaches out to you, and your savings begin to deplete. And that reminds me, someone asked the question in the group, also tilting towards that aspect. Most beavers end up being big givers. But I'm going to show you something about giving this evening. So, while studying about giving, I came across the Jewish pattern for giving. Of course, it's actually also the basics of most of the conversations you have in the Bible when it comes to giving. So, but what I found out is that in the Talmud, so the Talmud is an explanation of the law of Moses. So the law of Moses was broken down, okay, to the Talmud. So the law of Moses is called Torah, okay, and then the Talmud is as good as their scriptures. So one of the rules, or one of the verses in the Talmud, I'm going to read this, says, one should not give away more than 20% of one's wealth to charity to avoid becoming impoverished and dependence on others. So in that rule, it says that you do not give away more than 20% of your wealth. You don't give away more than 20% so that you will not also be impoverished or dependent on others. In the end, you now find out that you're in the same place that person was. And then you begin to complain and say things like, oh, when they needed help, I was there for them, and all that and all that. The truth is, based on the scriptures, based on this rule, you should not give more than 20%. And you see, the interesting part was that I also discovered that there were 8 levels of charity in the Jewish system. And if you're going to observe this, I mean, it's going to help your finances. 8 levels of charity, 8 levels. So I'm going to just briefly go through them. 8 levels of giving. So you understand that all givings are not the same. And secondly, it will shock you what the highest level of giving is. It will shock you that maybe to a large extent, you have the capacity to deliver that level of that's giving of the highest level. But most times we do not pay attention to it. So, 8 levels of charity. The first level of charity is giving unwillingly. Okay, you're giving, but with a closed heart. How many of you are here that you have given unwillingly before? I am one of them. I have given unwillingly. So you can do a show of a hand. So this is the lowest level of giving. Okay, you are given. Sometimes you don't believe the story the person said, but you just gave. Sometimes you believe the story the person said, but your heart is closed at that point of giving. And that's why the Bible always encourages that you should give with a cheerful heart. Any giving that does not come with cheerfulness is the lowest level of giving. The second level of giving is inadequate but cheerful. You remember that story, if you're a student of the Bible, where a woman gave her last. She was inadequate, but she was cheerful. Okay, this is often where people in the reactive, that's the squirrels, find themselves. This thing is not even enough for me, but I am giving it. That is another level. The third level of charity is gift after request. That's your gifting after request. Someone asks you for something, and then you gift that person. That's the third level of charity. Okay, I hope you're with me and you're learning from this. The fourth level of giving is giving before request. So someone has a need, you spotted that need, and then you gave the person, even before the person asks. That is the fourth level of giving. The fifth level of giving. Now, giving begins to move to the anonymity realm. So, if you are if your giving is such that the receiver knows who gave, but the donor does not give, does not know the person is gifting. So maybe that has happened to you. Someone says, oh, there's someone that needs something and all that. Please, can you support? Can you support this person? And then you say, oh, why not? That is anonymous giving. And then it's a level of anonymous giving. Okay. So, all right. Thank you. Thank you, Rookie. Sorry, Evziba, for responding. Okay. So that's the fifth level of giving. The sixth level of giving is one in which the donor knows, but the receiver does not know. All right. That is the sixth level of giving. So let's say it's Christmas time and you go to your neighbor's house, you drop gift items at their door and you walked away. In that case, the person does not know he owes you or does not feel ashamed that he's receiving from you. Okay, so the seventh level of giving is complete anonymity. The giver does not know the donor does not know the receiver, and then the receiver does not know the donor. Okay, maybe it's just a welfare gift, and okay, you just said, okay, I just made a profit of say 10 million, and of course, I want to give say ₦1,000,000, 500,000 naira to any cause in church. You don't know the person, and you just gave. Okay, all right, so at that point, nobody feels ashamed. Nobody feels empowered that, oh, I have a right to this person's whatever it is because you gave. So it's complete anonymity. The level I'm going to is level 8. And guess what? Level 8 giving or charity is a giving that eliminates the need for charity. A giving that eliminates the need for charity. It's called partnership and self-sufficiency. At that point, you take that person to a place in which the person does not need charity again. And there are 4 types, and these 4 types are also in levels. The most interesting and the number one type is finding employment for a person. That's a level of giving. That's a level of giving. Has this ever happened to you? Because I've heard it happen to some people in the past whom they say, okay, this person's always asking, but I want to give this person a job, and the person says he doesn't want a job. He wants to start his business, blah, 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 and yet you're struggling. And it actually shows that you don't know where you're going. So this is the highest level, because at this point, you have eradicated the need for charity. Okay? Then this is followed by forming a business partnership with a person. So this person is always asking you for money. Then you then decided, okay, this person has skills that could be useful. Okay, so why don't we partner so that we both can benefit from this relationship, eliminating charity. Okay, the third part of this, or the third type under partnership and self-sufficiency, is extending interest-free loan. Okay, extending interest-free loan. Why is extending interest-free loan more important than just gifting the person? Why? Because at that point, that person is able to perform productive activities that still makes him responsible for that money. Okay, and if you read the scriptures, in a lot of places, the Bible talks about everyone even having to work. In fact, in some point, I think in the book of Ephesians, the Bible says that let him that steal no more, and then let him begin to engage so that he might be able to give to others. Okay, then the final type under this is outright gift. All right. So let's say you know this person, or someone comes to meet you and says, okay, my mom is ill, and then we need 4 million naira to take her through the process of treatment, and after that, she'll be fine. And then you drop the 4 million naira outright gift. You have eliminated the need for charity. So let me ask you, which of the 8 levels of giving do you want to operate in? Which of the 8 levels of giving? I want to know. I want to know, do you want level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4? Which of them do you want to engage? I want to see your responses. All right. Because we are taking a flight, and in that flight, we are not talking about level 1. We are not talking about being in that place in which all you're going to do is to, okay, she said level 8, Edith, thank you for that. Number 8, thank you, Favor. Good, 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 good. So if you want to be able to operate in that level 8, it means that the only thing that is important, I mean, with this little understanding you have this night, the most important aspect in giving is being able to eliminate the need for charity. Eliminating the need for charity. And these are the opportunities you want to look for. But for you to be able to have things like partnership, what must you do? You must leave, or you must move away from that place in which you are reactive or just accumulative, and then move to the place of being an architect, a builder of systems. That is going to help you. And also building relationship with people that have systems. Okay, so that's financial operating system. Today, we are going to first look at why people don't build financial operating systems, or more of like the barriers, okay, that stop people from building financial operating system. The number one barrier is the invisibility of the default system. So most of us are running on a blueprint that is not ours. We are running on our operating system that is the default system, and we don't even know that we are running on a default system, on a system that is headed in the wrong direction. And the only thing we are anchoring up to be able to survive that system is hope. Because it is invisible. It looks like everybody. And the truth is, that first level of being a squirrel, of being reactive with your finances, you have about 80% of Nigerians in that place. So imagine you enter a room, and then in that room, you have 100 people and 80 people are doing the same thing. The probability of seeing something different is that remaining 20 people, which you may not even come across while walking through the room. So it's quite invisible. You just don't know that it is a system. You don't know you are in a box. And guys, this is eye-opening for you to understand that you are in a box and you need to make that move. Okay, the number 2 barrier is the brain chooses the distant pain. So this is it. You might have been in that place in which you have thought about it and say, okay, what can I do? And then you see that, okay, I have to do this, I have to do that, I have to do this. And then you waive it to a later time. People have waived their financial success to a later time until they retired, and it met them unprepared. Because the brain does not want to fix things, does not want to go through a process of realignment. It doesn't want the problem, doesn't want the trouble. The brain wants to continue what it is used to doing. And even after you have gone through this class, the brain still wants to do what it is doing. And sometimes one of the things we do is that we now rely on willpower. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it the first day, second day, and then you now find out that your brain will say, oh God, calm down. Calm down. This is not how we used to do it. It is easier for you to go back to that previous system because the brain does not want pain in the now. Or have you ever had situations in which all you did was to just wave it and say, I don't want to think about it now. I don't want to think. And then you find out that you are in the second year and you have not thought about it. The brain chooses to extend the pain. Okay, let's put the pain ahead. Someone tells you that, oh, the way you're running your business is not working and all that and all that. I say, like Yoruba will say, kasha atijo. So we can just eat. But that is not the essence of business. The 3 barrier is the knowledge paradox. And this is a lot. This is a lot. So this is it. Whenever you're starting something new or you're going through the process of building a system, you go through 5 levels. Okay? The first level is the excitement level, Whenever you find out, I mean, after you have found out about the things we're going to teach tonight, you'll be so excited. Or maybe, let me just talk about it this way. Maybe you found out something in your career or so, I mean, and you're like, okay, or you've got your first job and you're like excited. So the first level you go through in knowledge paradox is you're excited. After excitement, you now start the job. You now saw that you are not as competent on that job, and it might also be your business. You find out you are not as competent in that job. So the next level is called, or maybe it's even in your business. The next level is called the confusion level. So at that confusion level, you are now wondering, should I go ahead with this? Even when you start designing your financial operating system, at first you'll be excited. Then the next thing is you now get confused. Then you enter the third state. The third state is the value of decision. You're now in that place in which you're like, okay, what do I do? Should I continue? Should I? Could I? So when people get here and that value of decision, what do people do? They turn back and say, this is not meant for me. It is more difficult than I ever thought. And then they turn back. Meanwhile, you have two other levels. After that value of decision, you have the conscious result. So just after that, you begin to have conscious results. You begin to get results gradually. Gradually, you're now like, okay, I seem to be getting it. I seem to be getting it. Because there's nothing we are talking about today that you are going to be able to practice 100% on willpower, but on resilience. Then you now get to the final level or the final stage, which is achievement. So guys, there is a knowledge paradox. You have to go through this cycle. If you're here and you have started one business, killed that business, started another, killed it, it is because of this. Because you must go through this. There is no way in which you are given birth in this space called the earth, in which you will not go through infanthood, what's the next one? Would I say childhood, teenage, and youth, and then adult? You have to go through it. In anything you are learning, any complex thing you are learning, because life in itself is complex, business is complex, going on a job is complex. You go through stages. The fourth barrier is the social contagion. Because many people are running on that system, you feel that there is really nothing wrong with it. But I hope that you understand right now that there is something wrong with the financial operating system you're currently running on. And that's why we are talking about the financial blueprint. Okay? So the financial blueprint is your complete written strategic document that maps your current financial reality to your designed future through specific measurable systems and timelines. Okay? That means for you to move from where you are at, you must have a blueprint. Now, sometimes people will say that, oh, is this how everybody that is wealthy does? And the truth is, yes. They do this themselves. And when they have the capacity, they get someone else to do it for them. And that's why you hear things like private office, where people begin to employ everybody that is going to be able to build this for them. But you see, the reason you're not progressing in your finances is because you don't even have a blueprint. Sorry. You don't even have a blueprint. You don't have a written strategy document. And that's what we're going to do in the first phase of this program, of this meeting tonight. I'm going to show you the elements and I'm going to run you through. After running you through, I'm also going to give you time to be able to work on this while we go through this class. Okay? I hope you're ready for this. I hope you're ready to have your own blueprint. I hope you're ready to do that. Okay? If you're ready, give a thumbs up. I'm ready, or drop a message and say, I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready. Okay. So when you're writing your blueprint, the first layer in the blueprint is the foundation. Okay, thank you for your responses. Thank you for that response. I'm ready, edit. Yeah, thank you. Okay, so the foundation layer is where assessing where you currently stand. Of course, you would have taken the test and you know your current financial operating system. You note it down. I mean, there is room for it in that document. Then you go to current income. Okay, you're going to see how much you earn. You're going to have to write it down and fill it in that document. Like I always say, or like I said in the podcast, the first in every foundation, any foundation, the first element in every foundation is your mindset, your operating system. Your operating system is a reflection of your mindset. It is not a reflection of your environment. So the reason we are struggling, I'm struggling, is because of the Nigerian system. It is not. Because in that same system, some people are living the life of their dreams. And some people will say, oh, it is because they are connected. My friend, it is not connection. There's a place in which connection is necessary, but struggling financially is not a product of connection. It's a product of your operating system. Okay, and then the second most important one is income. So if you do not have any income, you're first disqualified. So the first thing you should do is to get your income. Okay, so next up is the structure. This is your goal structure. I'm going to show you in that document your goal structure and timelines. Okay, in that document we just have, I think we have just a 5-year plan. Okay, just a 5-year goal structure. Of course, you are going to see it when we get there. Layer 3 is the allocation. How does money flow? All right. So this means, I mean, if you're going to be an architect, okay, you're going to be intentional about your finances. You must have 4-bucket system. I'm going to show you that 4-bucket system when we go into the document. I hope Oreolu has shared the link because we're going to be going to the document shortly, because this session is about hands-on. All right. So if you already have the document at this time, maybe you want to begin to download so that by the time I go to the document, you can begin to look through it. If you don't have the documents, let us know. You can drop a message. All right. So then you also have automation rules under your allocation. The layer 4 is the growth engine. That's your wealth building system. We're not going to cover this in this document because we want this document to be as simple as possible. Okay, as simple as possible. And this focuses on investing. When it comes to investing, I'm going to talk about it when I'm talking about how to increase your income. Layer 5 is your extended structure. So that structure you had in layer 3, this is where you extend it to goals, to broader timelines. Okay, so you're talking about 20 years, you're talking about 30 years. At that point, you're talking about contingencies. Okay, so for now, we are going to be working with a financial operating systems blueprint and not a wealth operating system blueprint. That's why on the program, totally. And you must be able to do financial operating system blueprint before you move to wealth operating system blueprint. So if you want to make a jump, we see in camera. All right, then finally is legacy. This is not in financial operating system blueprint. It's also in wealth system blueprint. So let's go to the documents. Okay, let's go to the document where I'm going to show you how this works. Looks like I got to remove my glasses kind of thing. All right. Okay. Yeah, we're here. Oh, no, not this document. Okay. So let me remove my glasses so I can see. Awesome. Beautiful. We have it here. So this operating system blueprint is one in which if you begin to run it today, you will experience a financial shift within the next 1 month. Within the next 1 month, you will experience a financial shift. It's going to put everything in perspective for you. So let's run through it. The financial operating systems blueprint. Okay, the first part is your current system assessment, where you have, okay, what version are you running on? If you are the firefighter, okay, the reactive person, you're in version 1. If you're the librarian, so the firefighter is the same reactive person. The librarian is the accumulative person. You're running on version 2. The architect is running on version 3. And the air traffic controller is running on version 4. Now, here are the avatars, okay? Squirrel, beaver, eagle, spider. So what you do in this space is to tick, okay? You tick the boxes for the one that currently represents you, okay? So the next part is also still part of the foundation where you have your income architecture, okay? So you write your primary source of income, okay? You could say that, okay, it's a salary, all right? Salary from my job. And then if you have a secondary stream of income, you write it there. Then you write down how much you're making monthly from that source of income. All right. For people who are in business, so what you want to do is just take an average in the last 6 months or in the last 12 months, and then you can note it there. Favor says, are you filling my phone for me? All right. So let's say that you have a job, okay? Yeah, job, and then you earn 500,000 naira monthly. So that's what you're going to feel. Okay, let's assume you also don't have a secondary income stream, right? So you leave it blank. Then we then go into the structures. Okay, we go to the structures. All right, Favor, well noted. Okay, so we go through the structures. Next is your 4-bucket system. So this blueprint gives you the opportunity to open up to apportioning your money in percentages, which is the best you can do. So we said earlier that this person's salary is 500,000 monthly. Okay, so in this structure we have here, 50% is going to your needs. All right, 500,000. Okay, so you then begin to feel how much is rent. In this part of the world, we pay for rent annually. Okay, so maybe you want to say, okay, let's assume that your rent is 600K. You then begin to put 50,000 naira separately for your rent. Utilities, I don't know what you're going to put there. Maybe 20,000. And food is every these days. So let's assume you spend 130,000. I hope we still save 1,000. Okay. And then lastly, your transportation. So let's say 50,000. Oh, sorry. Needs is supposed to be 250K, not 500K. 250. Okay. So let's calculate. Yeah. And let's say for healthcare, you have an HMO. So maybe you're not doing that right now. So at least you have allocated 250,000 naira here. That's the first bucket. So what you want to do is, for some apps or some banks have an opportunity for you to open a sub account. If you can do that, beautiful. If you can't, you might need 4 accounts. Okay, so this needs might be the accounts that maybe you have your inflow into, your salary is being paid into. Okay, so security or giving, right? Let's say that should 20% of 500,000 is 100,000. So your emergency fund. Okay, so let's say that this person then decided to share it 10% here, 10% there. And for insurance, most people don't do insurance in this part of the world, but let's say that you have an insurance that you're paying, and most times insurance here, okay, yeah, some people do monthly. So let's say 10,000 goes to insurance, and 40,000 goes to emergency funds, and your 50,000 goes to tithe or giving. All right. So then you go to Financial Freedom Fund. This is one of the most important funds. Most people don't have a financial freedom fund. So 20% of that is 100,000, right? So how do you then allocate this? So I'm going to assume that this person doesn't have a business so that I can easily do the maths, right? So what do you do here? Let's say for investments, I then decide to say, okay, I'm going to use 50,000 naira for investments, and I choose where the investment is. All right, so let me say mutual fund. Okay, then for education, I do another 50,000 for, let's say, financial education, because I don't know much about finances, so I want to learn that. So I signed up for a program with Bold Money Moves. Okay, I don't have a business yet. It's something I'm thinking about. Then you now have the last part, which is for enjoyment. You have 50K for that month that you can enjoy. So at this point, this is where the money for the snack, for the drink, the money for, okay, I want to buy grilled fish. You see, most people do not enjoy their money. And this gives you that money. You will be shocked how much you spend on enjoyment, but because you don't, um, you are not accountable to yourself, you are not able to check that. So here is the 4 buckets. Do you have any questions before I proceed? Questions? Any questions? Questions. All right. Okay. You're going to do this yourself before the end of this session. Okay. So someone dropped a message. Let me see. Okay. At what stage is vacation necessary? Vacation is your enjoyment money. Vacation is your enjoyment money. So you can decide. So this one is a 50-20-20-10. You can decide to have a 40-20-20-20. Do you get, while you're putting aside money for vacations? All right. Thank you. Beautiful question. Okay. Automation rules. So what do you then do? So the automation rules help you put maybe automations on your account. All right. So rule 1 could be, if salary is paid, salary is paid, what do you do? Then allocate 20% to investment, 20% to giving, and 10% to what again? To enjoyment. Awesome. Automation rules. Then you now say rule 2 could be, if I get a windfall, okay, or a promotion, okay, let's say windfall, someone dashes you money. So what do? Allocate to giving, maybe 30%, investment 50%. Sorry. So a windfall could also be profit sharing by your company. And then the remaining 20% enjoyment enjoys 20%. Rule 3, you get a promotion. Now, to a large extent, most people treat promotion like a salary expansion. But I would say that if you get a promotion, the first promotion, still maintain your lifestyle. By the second promotion, you can then extend it. Okay? So you then create another rule. So let's go to the goal architecture. Part 5. On that goal architecture, what should you do? Okay? Stability. All right. So if we go by this person's method, The person said he's going to do 40,000 naira every month into emergency funds. So if we go by this person's method, that means by the end of the year, the person will have 480,000 naira. Okay. But 1 month emergency fund is what we are targeting in 12 months. So that means the person has to at some point add 20,000 naira. So let's assume he gets a windfall and then he now gets 500,000 naira for this by December 31st, 2026. Okay. So what will be the value of your first investment? Sometimes our investments might not add up until, I mean, might not be able to, we might not be able to fulfill certain investments until it gets to a certain value. All right. Like you want to invest in real estate, there's a chunk you must get to. So first investment, let's say at the end, if the person is doing 10% monthly, that means the person has 600,000 naira for his first investment. But of course, if you're doing, if what you're focusing on is a mutual fund, your first investment is 50,000 naira. Okay, sorry. By the end of the year, yeah. So it's still 60,000. Sorry, 600,000 by year end. Debt free, except mortgage. So if you have debt, you want to be able to take care of that. Security, years 1 to 3. At the end of, so if you could target that at the end of 3 years, okay, at the end of the first year, I'm able to do 1 month emergency savings. So that emergency savings is, sorry, emergency fund is that amount that equals your monthly expense. All right. So this person, for instance, oh, that means I made a mistake here. Since the person spends, if we remove investments, then if we remove investment at the end of the year is, okay, 50,000 naira monthly. That means this person spends 450,000. So even if the person is doing 480,000, the person covers a 1 month emergency savings. So let's go back here. All right. So at this point, you can say, okay, in 3 years, I want to be able to cover 6 months of my emergency savings. So what will 6 months be? 450,000 naira times 6. Okay, that's 9. That's 2.7 million naira. 7 million by 2030. No, 2029. Okay. Then down payment saved. Okay, you want to take a mortgage, you want, or whatever. Are you going to have a down payment? You could say, okay, I'll have a down payment of 3 million by 2028. Okay. So we are assuming that your income must have expanded. Retirement savings account, what would you have had there? So let's say 5 million. Okay. Of course, you know that this one, your boss deducts it, your company deducts it. So then you now have a plan for 3 to 5 years. Your net worth should be 10x by then. Write your current net worth. Okay. So let's assume that your net worth is 1.5 million. Okay. So that means by how many years? If your salary, if your income is increasing by 30% annually, okay, we are talking of 5 years. So let's say that by then your net worth could be 5 million. It should be more than that because of your emergency savings, but let's just assume that. Okay. So we then go to emergency protocols. I hope this parts are clear. So after this session, talking about this, I'm going to give you a couple of minutes for you to look at it or for you to review what you have and maybe enter yours. So emergency protocols, income loss. If anything happens to my income, what do I do? All right. So at this point, you could say that in case of income loss, I revert to emergency savings. Okay. I revert to emergency savings and, okay, okay, and will cut, and I'm sorry, I said cut, and will actively work on another income source, or you could also say or upskill within 3 months. 3 months. Okay, so that could be your own method. All right, so let's say there's a major expense of any major expense of 1 million and above was going to be my rule for that. Okay, so what am I going to do with that? When I have a major expense, someone is ill, and then I have to comfort. It might also still be your emergency savings. It might also be that you have another savings. Okay. All right. So you could also use that in that case. So this is what you should also do. Ensure that you're reviewing this quarterly, monthly. I mean, monthly is fine. Start with monthly. Okay, where you will now begin to appraise yourself. My target for emergency savings was so, this is my actual. Then you now, my net worth target was this is my actual. Then you now list what worked, what do you need to fix ahead of next quarter. Okay. All right, guys, I hope this is clear. I want to hear from you. Is this going to help you? Is this clear? Is this clear? And is it going to help you? Okay. Do I give you time to also do this? I want to hear from you. Do you want to try yours right now, or we should just move into the next? Do we move into the next, or this is fine? Guys, I need you talking to me. I need you talking to me. How many of you have, I mean, as I was saying it, you were feeling yours. Let me see. A show of hand. As I was saying it, you were feeling yours. Let me see. Is there anybody like that here? Okay, you came in late, you were in a noisy environment. Okay, oh, madam, welcome. Wow, you need to listen to this recording. I mean, that's very, very important. All right. Okay, completely lost. Eunice, you came in late, I think. Okay. All right, so this is it. What we did was we gave people the opportunity to, um, we gave people the opportunity to, okay, someone says you do has later. We gave people the opportunity to fill their blueprint right here in the class. So you might want to look at that. Okay. So Ziba says, I want to fill patiently my net. Okay, you need the form. Or someone says he doesn't have the form. Okay. So please maybe you reshare the link. Let him have it. Okay. All right. So let's move then. You don't have it to. All right. So, all right, maybe you want to do this. Maybe you want to drop it in the group. I want to assume everybody is in the group. Okay. So you drop the link to this in the group so that everybody can have it. All right. Okay. Thank you. All right. So, okay. So that is what you can feel, and then it will get you on track. Right. But one of the challenges most people have is this challenge of their income. Saying, okay, if I'm going to do this, my income is not enough. Yeah, I'm earning maybe the minimum wage or less than the minimum wage. So it's difficult to get this off the ground. So that's why we're talking about increasing your income. This is one aspect in which most people are interested in. But what happens most times is that even after people have a raise, they don't know how to channel their raise. So the first thing you should ask yourself, why do you want a raise? Why do you want to have an extra income? Why do you want to make more money in 2027? I always say this, if your why is powerful enough, you will attract the discipline and the reward of that why. Why is a question of purpose. So here's the question. Why do you want to make more money? And looking at being an architect, if you are an architect, the reason you want a raise, the reason you want an increase is not because you um, it's not because you want to eat more money, but it's because you want to invest. I'm going to talk more about that in a jiffy. So it's because you want to invest. It's because you want to grow. That's why you're doing that. Not because you want to afford the things you could not afford. That's not the first reason for an income increase. Okay? So I said earlier, 1 minute, please. Okay, we're back. Sorry. So your why has to be strong enough. All right. If you want to become an architect, you want to be intentional about your finances. The essence of your increment is not for you to consume it. Okay? It's not for you to consume it. And one of the things you should work towards is to ensure that your income can increase by about 30% every year. How many percent? 30% every year. Why? Because if your income increases by 30% yearly, guess what's going to happen? In 3 years, you would have doubled your income. I'm going to show that to you shortly. Okay, I'm going to show that to you shortly. So we're going to use a compound interest calculator. Let's look at it. So let's assume that your annual income, okay, I have 6 million here. So I'm assuming that monthly you earn 500,000 and your annual income then is 6 million. All right. If your annual income is 6 million, let us assume, let's do this for, say, 3 years. Okay. Let's say within 3 years, and then you decide to increase your income by 30%. You see, 30% is quite conservative. So if you're earning 1 million, that means your 30% is 300,000. How did you move from 1 million to 300,000? So 1.3 in a year. So let's calculate it. What would that value be in 3 years? Am I right? Okay, 6 million in 3 years, 30% increase annually, you will have 13 million naira as your income in 3 years. Double of that is 12 million naira. So let's check it on the table. So that means in your first year, you have 6 million. In the next year, you add 1.8 million to it. That's 7.8 million. By the next year, the year after that, by the year two, yeah, you have 10 million. And by year 3, you will have this. So I would want everybody on this call to set yourself on that journey. I'm going to show you how to. I'm going to introduce you on how you can increase your income by 30% every year. So this is for someone earning 6 million in 3 years. So let's try this. Let's do this for 7 years. 7 years. Okay, 7 years. You're increasing your income from that 6 million in 7 years. It works like magic because this is a compounding factor. In 7 years, that 6 million will now be an annual income of 37 million. In one of the businesses that I operate, okay, we started with 3.5 million, okay, and that was in 2021, 3.5 million. As of now, we've made a turnover of 350. and an asset base of over about 1.5 billion. But that is because when we started, we already said that the goal is to increase this by a minimum of 30% annually. And we did much more than that. And this is year 4 plus. So these things are practicable. They're practicable. So this is year 7, 37 million. So let's look at what happens in 10 years. Okay, for those people here who have worked for 10 years or more. If you're increasing your income by 30% every year, what happens in 10 years? In 10 years, you will have an income of 82.7 million naira. And here's the calculation. By year 5, you're 22 million up. And by year 10, you are 82 million up. So this is it. Just imagine that every year you had obeyed this rule, increasing your income by 30% annually. You would see that you would have deviated from depending on it as a sole, you would have deviated from being, if you know what you're doing, really, if you know what you're doing, you would have deviated from being an accumulative person or a reactive person. You would have deviated to becoming an architect in your finances. So there's no challenge. If there's any challenge you're taking home tonight, let it be that you're going to increase your income by 30% minimum annually. Okay, so let's get back to our slide. All right, so let me give you this basic clarity. Not everybody will be wealthy because not everybody will create wealth. You will go through that knowledge paradox, and at some point, people will give up. But this is it. This is what God's word says. It says, but remember the Lord your God, for it is He who gives you the ability to produce wealth and so confirms His covenant, which He saw to your ancestors as it is today. Now, this is the only place where God has connected Himself with wealth. Himself by Himself, because it was God speaking here. If you go and read Deuteronomy chapter 8, you read from verses 11 till you get here, you will see that that's what God was saying. And it is Him that gives you the ability. Some versions say the power. So the truth is, we have over 8 billion people on earth. All of them has been given the power, the ability to produce wealth. All of them have been given that ability, and you are included. But if I give you power to do something and you fail to do it, it is no longer my responsibility. In fact, most people do not use their power. The reason you're still struggling in the reactive stage or the accumulative stage is because you're not using your power. That power is what we're going to be talking about tonight. Ask yourself this question. Am I using my power to produce wealth? You see, sometimes when I hear people say, oh, okay, I want to start my business, what I notice is that most people are not starting a business, they are just being self-employed. They just shifted the employer. Nothing really changed. And at that, they now keep struggling and struggling, and then open, not tapping into the ability, the power to produce wealth. And guess what? Where does this power to get wealth, where does it reside? It resides in you. It resides in you. So let's go into the 3 engines for unlimited income. The first engine is to turn yourself into an asset called the human capital engine. This is the most powerful engine in wealth creation. If currently your income, your monthly income is, say, 70,000 naira, it is because of the engine of your human capital. And this points to your skills, your mindset, and your capacity, your power to create wealth. How much are you typing into that power? So your skills. If you run on a skill that is for people that are implementers, you will get the result of implementers, because there are 4 levels of value, 4 kinds of value that people bring to the market. They are the implementers, those who does the daily work, who does the bottom work, who does the groundwork, the implementers. Then secondly, in the levels of value, the second level of value is supervision, right? Those who supervise those that does those I'm trying to be I'm trying to use the right words so that it doesn't feel, those who do the manual work, or who does the day-to-day running of a business or of a company. All right, those are the lower cadre. Okay, so that's the second level, supervision. The third level is communication. Those that make money through, or that creates value through, the messages they pass, writing, books, speaking, singing, then the communication. And then the final level of value is imagination or creativity. Those who their major work is to create a result, is to create a product and then bring it to the market. 1 minute, please. All right. So you need to turn yourself into an asset. If you're an implementer, someone in which you have to be the one carving the shoes you're making, you cannot get the reward of an imaginator. You can't get the reward. So we are where we are at mostly because of our skills, our mindset. Because if your mindset has not shifted, if you still feel that you have to be on the counter, okay, dispensing medication, and then from there, one miracle of favor will hit you, okay, your skill set and your mindset is not there. If these two can increase, and your capacity, when it comes to capacity, I often talk about this as being your connection with God. You have not gone to a place in which you find out the secrets that God has embedded for you in your growth or your wealth, journey to wealth. So you increase your value, then you increase your earning power. Now, we are going to be talking more about this in our program, Financial Architect Accelerator program coming in March. Okay? So, wealth begins with who you become. If you don't become a person, you will not attract the result. No matter how much you love your child, even if somebody gives your 5-year-old a car, you will never give that child. If that child is even having a stunted growth, the person cannot even still operate out just the car. So most people have stunted growth in their skills. So my question is this: what skill have you added while you're running that business? What skill have you added to yourself that will make you earn the kind of money you think a miracle will bring to you? Turn yourself into an asset. The second thing you can do is to turn your liabilities into assets. Turn your liabilities into assets. So most times, people in the middle class spend their money in buying liabilities. You rent this big apartment, and then you're the only one inside. It's a liability. Your phone, okay? You decide to upgrade your phone, and you're using, I think it's iPhone 17 that is out now. You're using that, and it's a liability. What if you can turn those liabilities into assets? Every liability you have has the capacity to produce financial reward for you. Convert your expenses into tools of production. So I'm shooting this from my apartment. All right. Your phone can be that liability that you're using to create content. Yeah, you say, okay, no, I don't want to be a content creator, but that same device, the AI that maybe you have even paid for, can be used to help you in designing courses. Now, listen to me carefully. Using AI does not mean you should say this, you should put your mind to the background. It's just a tool for you to refine those things that come from your imagination. And you remember, in the 4 levels of value, imagination is the highest level of value. If what you do is tied to your handwork, you must do with your hand. If it's tied to your handwork, you cannot produce value at a certain level. You see that wealth you want to build, if it is your hand that must always do it, okay, you'll be cut off from that journey. So transform what drains you into what pays you. So your apartment, for instance, is, the bills are high. Transform that apartment to something that makes money for you. Design a system that makes money serve you. Sorry, I got to rush because I still have a couple of things. All right. So make your assets, and this is the last one, multiplication engine. How you make your assets generate more income, more assets. Let me say this. The biggest investment you can ever have is an investment into yourself. The biggest investment you can ever have. It pays the highest dividend. If the way you operate your business in 2026 is still the same way, it's the same way you operated it in 2025, same way you operated it in 2024, you are not investing in your biggest asset. Especially when the business is still a startup, it gets to a stage in which your business you cannot morph a lot of things. If the same returns you're making, the same way you're running it, it shows that you are not investing in yourself. By now, you should be in search of skills that will make you a billionaire at what you do. Your money must reproduce. So the first place your money must go into is into yourself. You see, when people hear about stocks, they are they want to invest in stock. Okay, I just need money to invest in stock. Forgetting the fact that it is your knowledge that even made you to go and invest in stocks in the first place, or the knowledge you got from someone else. But if you invest in yourself, you might see beyond that. Okay? Build cash flowing assets and reinvest. Okay? So often, the more you reinvest, the better you become. Okay? Multiplication, not addition, creates wealth. Okay? So talking about cash flowing assets. There are 2 ways by which you create wealth. Only 2 ways by which you create wealth. You can create wealth by reduction. You can create wealth by amplification. 2 ways. Reduction and amplification. So let me explain. So when you create wealth by reduction, what are you doing? You're reducing your lifestyle so that you can have more money to invest in stock market, in real estate, in whatever the asset is. So you reduce your lifestyle. You reduce the nutrients you take. It's okay. Instead of eating food that is going to cost me 6,000 naira daily, then I should go for the lower end. So let's say you're earning 1,000,000 naira. Now say, oh, I must live on 300,000 and invest and save the remaining 700K. So that in another 10, 20, 30 years, most times it's not even 10, so 20, 30 years, I will be financially free. And guess what? At that 20, 30 years, you're already old and possibly you're feeble. You can't now enjoy the money you had put forward into the future. Reduction. You can also build wealth through amplification. What does amplification mean? Amplification means that you create more value in the market, right? When you create more value in the market, your income increases. And when you do that, what happens? you have much more money to invest. If you must if you must grow wealth through amplification, you will then understand that the most important asset is yourself. And you will be able to invest in yourself without fear. Without fear. So, which would you rather build? Do you want to build wealth by reduction or by amplification? Drop in the chat or write it down where you are at. I want to build wealth by amplification. Okay. All right. So, I've said a lot this evening, and I hope, thank you for your response. I hope you have learned a lot. I hope you have learned a lot. Okay. People say amplification, amplification. All right. So, I hope you've learned a lot, and I hope this is going to help you. All right. If you've learned a lot this evening that you can apply, okay, I want to build up application. If you've learned a lot this evening that you can apply, I want you to give me a thumbs up. Let me know that I did a good job. Okay. And if you have questions, I would like to take your questions. Or if there's a takeaway for you today, you might want to drop the takeaway. All right. Let me just know it. Okay. Everybody's using amplification, amplification. All right. So, guys, is there any question? Oh, thank you. Thank you. Say, you did a good job. When I edit. Thank you. All right. So, who else? Okay. Oh, you have a question. I want to hear from you. Okay. Thank you, Elziba. Thank you. Let me see. Okay. I can see.
Good evening, sir.
All right. Yeah. What's up, Elziba? How you doing?
Well, thank you for all you do. I
All right. My
personally do
pleasure.
have patience,
Okay.
and so this is my. It's more like an observation, but I think
Okay.
I'll do a question too. So
Okay.
I personally, based on following the classes, the
Yeah.
point of amplification, you still have to start with reduction. I don't know if I'm right. Do you understand what
Yeah.
I'm
Sure.
saying?
Yeah.
Like, get to the point where, okay, you can now move to amplification. I feel it's not something you start off immediately. Like, you have to first learn reduction before you now move to a stage where you can now start amplifying. So I want to know if I'm right.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for that question. Do you have any other question?
For now, that's my question. And the second one is that we have access to recording so we can take notes later because I don't take notes during class, so I can focus.
Okay. No problem. All right. Thank you. Thank you for that question. So, do you have to start from reduction before you go into amplification? Okay, so this is it. Both of them are a mindset thing, right? Must you start from reduction? What's reduction? Reduction is okay, let me reduce my lifestyle so that I can make more money. Amplification is okay, let me invest in myself so that I become more valuable and I can create wealth. Both of them are different lifestyles. Now, the truth is this, you don't have to start from reduction. You don't have to start from reduction because it's a mindset thing, right? It's a mindset thing. You don't have to consistently learn. So instead of consistently learning how to reduce your lifestyle, you should consistently learn how to increase your value in the marketplace. Okay.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah. All right.
Maybe I
Do you want
should
to say
put a
something?
little. Can you hear me, sir?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hello, sir.
I can
Meant
hear you.
by that. So what I meant by that is okay. So I want to amplify,
Yeah.
invest in myself for an example. So that means I still need to cut down something. So the reduction might not be like a year or 10 years thing. It might just be like for a short period, just to be able
Period.
to. So I'm not saying it has to
Okay,
be a
invest in
lifestyle.
yourself. Okay, okay, okay. All right, beautiful. Beautiful. Now, with what you have just said, that is actually an amplification mindset. That okay, I want to do this so that I can become this. All right. So it's the mindset, and that's where I'm pointing at. Okay, that's where I'm pointing at. But beautiful. I mean, perfect. Okay. So thank you for that question. I hope we're good. All right. So My takeaway is to start by tracking my income and expenses and adding more value to me. Beautiful. Then have two extra sources of income. That's where we might not really agree, but time will not permit me. Okay. All right. Oh, so, okay, questions. What's the strategy of getting out of debt fast? Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful question. And number two, how do you handle people always borrowing and not paying? Okay, so let me do justice to this. The first one, what's the strategy for getting out of debt fast? So the strategy for getting out of debt fast is we at some point were in debt. The debt we had was times two of our annual income. You can imagine how tense it was. That means if we didn't spend our annual income for 1 year, we would only have covered half of that debt. So what did we do? Well, like that guy that says that, I mean, there's a scriptures, there's a place in the scriptures, this story of this, I think the guys were leprous. Yeah, these lepers. So in Israel, there was famine because the country has been sieged. So there were no goods, there were no food, there was no food in Israel. People were dying of hunger, people were doing different things. And these lepers were outside the gate. And there is also now the camp of the enemy, the camp of the enemy that has besieged Israel. So the question is this. If we go back, they now say something. If we go back to Israel, there is no food because, of course, they would have been giving them food, they would have been getting tip-offs on what's going on. There's no food inside. But if we go forward, we are going to we might get food or we might be consumed. Last, they will kill us because it is the enemy's camp. And guess what these guys did? They stepped out. And when they got to the enemy's camp, they found out that there was no enemy at all. So, we want to get out of debt fast. The method that we used was to seek a source of income that can help us with that. So, sometimes you might want to be looking for high ticket sales. I mean, and that's what I tell people. The easiest way, do something high ticket sales, it will help you. You will be able to get out of debt very fast if you seek another opportunity and you are not looking inward. Because we had the opportunity to say we had investors we had to pay at that time. We did not want our investors to know that things ran bad. And we also made a commitment to paying those monies back. So we had to seek another opportunity. In less than 1 year, we were able to pay back our investors and still have more. Okay? It was because we're not looking back. We're actually looking forward. Right? There might be something you have to look forward into. Okay, number two, how do you handle people that are always borrowing and not okay, and regular demands for urgent 2K? Okay, all right, so now this is it. Number one, personally, I'll share my personal experience. This is not financial advice. Personally, I don't borrow individuals' money. Number one, that's the responsibility of the banks. Number two, if you go back to the 8 levels of charity that we talked about at the beginning of this class, okay, you should always seek to function from level 8. So, I don't borrow people money. If you come to me and say, you need 50K, we'll talk about it. And I will give you a portion. I will not give you the whole 50K. I'll give you a portion that I know I can give. All right? I'll give you that. I'm not borrowing you. Okay? Because the role of a bank is to borrow, is to lend you. So you must build your own credit worthiness. It is not my responsibility. And if you remember what I quoted from the Talmud, I said that one should not give away more than 20% of one's wealth to charity. Okay, to avoid becoming impoverished and dependence on others. So you need to go back and have your own rule. Create your rule, okay? Am I going to continue this? Am I going to borrow people? No. But if you have an architect system where your money already has places it is going, you know the limits you can go. You know where you can go. You know how far you can stretch. Then you will be able to implement. That's why your blueprint is very important. If your blueprint does not support this giving, then you forget it. Don't borrow people. Don't borrow people because you are not a bank. Banks have been assigned to do that. So don't borrow. My candid opinion. Give. Give what you can. And if you don't have is also an answer. Give what you can. And maybe one thing I would say is this: don't be in that place. Don't be in that place in which you want to solve everybody's problem. Nobody will do it. Nobody on earth can do that. Solve everybody's problem. The Bible says the poor you will always have with you. It's not a sign of wickedness. It is the fact that people will not still be able to grow their wealth. God will give them power, they will not use it. Okay? You cannot solve all the problem of everybody. So you need to have your own rules in handling such situations. Secondly, you need to give rather than lend to them. Because most times people in this part of the world don't pay. And for me, I think to a large extent, it is unfair for you to lend money to someone. And that's another set of people, of course, not everybody. That's another set of people. It's unfair for you to lend money to someone that cannot pay back. It doesn't have a source of income. So why not just say, okay, take and go? All right. Okay. So please give us examples. I hope I've answered your question, Wana. Okay. I hope I've answered your question. All right. So please give us an example of high ticket income. Okay. I don't know. Okay, high ticket sales. Let's talk about high ticket sales. All right. Because this high ticket income is making me push towards talking about high skills, high income skills. But high ticket sales, what are high ticket sales? High ticket sales are sales that you can make. And then when you make that sale, you can make a sale and make 6 digits, 7 digits from that one sale. Okay. Not financial advice. You can do so sometimes you can decide to sell a software for a company. You can decide to sell properties for someone. You can decide to sell landed properties here for someone and all that. So because the way real estate works is this: you make a sale of 5 million, you could get up to 500,000 naira. So with that, um, you cover a lot of gap, especially if you have debt. Okay, sell a software, sell something for someone, for a company that already exists. However, there is need to have done a proper research and be sure that it's going to work for you. Okay. All right. The questions keep pouring in, and we are not done. Okay. So tell them. Okay. All right. So Godwin is answering the question. I'm not going to read that out, but I hope this is the one that laughed. Oh, sorry. Okay. Okay. So Favor Sass even laughs this. So Wana, he wants to read that comment. Okay, let me go over. Okay, this sounds like something that Coach Nikki said. And guess what? Next week, Saturday, we are going to have Coach Nikki on this call. All right, so it says, tell them you are not Father Christmas. That is an uncultured generosity. This is one of the languages of Coach Nikki. Beautiful thoughts, uncultured generosity. I hope she will be able to touch more on that next week. Okay, you said, yes, I have answered your question. High income skills. So what I do is high ticket sales. Bam. Yeah, it is. It is. All right. Okay, so let's round off. Is everybody still raising a hand? Is this a new one or the old one?
The new one,
Okay.
sir.
All right. Okay, that should be fine now. Yeah, I'm listening.
My second question,
Okay.
my observation and question. So,
Okay.
following the podcast and the teachings, I
Okay.
observed that examples were addressing people in the corporate world more than
Okay.
business people.
Okay.
I felt, okay, maybe because it's your field, I don't know, but that was an observation that when you're
Okay.
giving examples to those
Okay.
on corporate jobs, business people,
Okay.
then secondly, when we were talking about how people can increase their
Income.
income, the kind of
Yeah.
most of these, maybe about 5 things people can do. Most of them had to do with tech. You understand what I'm saying?
Tech. Okay.
Like I can't remember everything, but I know most of
Yeah.
them were having to do with IT
Okay.
skills, technical. So the question is, what about those that are not so like they're not techy
They're not
and
a tech. Yeah.
they've tried, like it's not just their strength. So it's different that they didn't try to learn or something, because I believe we all have a different area of strength, or which is
Yeah.
possible to also build areas. But the truth is, tech is actually a struggle to some people. So does
Yeah.
it mean just limited chances of making high income?
Income.
You know,
Yeah. Making our income. All right. Thank you for that. Yeah. Is that all?
tried, and so those are my two
All right. Thank you for
observations.
those. Thank you for that powerful observation. Okay, so we will begin to work because, of course, I'm not also on a job. Yeah, maybe we'll begin to, I mean, sorry, we will begin to work on ensuring that we are using examples that are also, I mean, we are balancing it. Okay, we are balancing it. Thank you for that observation. I never thought about it. Because maybe I would think that I would have talked more about business people, but I am so very sorry. I mean, great observation. Thank you for bringing it to, okay, to, uh, I mean, to the forefront. All right. So another, I mean, one question you asked is, okay, is it techie? All right. Number one, people say I look like a techie person, like a tech guy. Yeah, I'm techie, but I'm not a tech guy. So talking about how to increase your income, I talked about 4 levels of value. The last 2 levels of value can be adopted anywhere. Okay. I said communication and imagination. Okay. All right. So for you to increase your income, it is not really about doing things techy. You can create systems that run on tech. That is a wealth amplifier on its own. But where does that resource come from? From communication, okay? And when it comes to communication, what are the fields in communication? Sales, marketing, and in communication. Because in those two fields, in sales and marketing, for instance, you can determine how much you earn. Whatever you earn in sales is based on your person. Okay, it's based on your capacity, it's based on your skill. Okay, so it is not even as much of techie than it is of a mental work. Oh, okay, so you say you were talking about acquisition of skills to increase your value and worth. Yeah, of course. Okay, so for instance, I am not, none of the businesses I do is a tech and is a tech business like that. But so what can you do, okay, about acquisition of skills to increase your value? One, I was talking about sales. I was talking about, yeah, sales. For instance, you could decide that, okay, you're going to, I mean, you fish out someone that talks about sales, all right? You study that person, learn from that person, okay? You could also decide that, okay, you want to strengthen your communication. All right. So skills like communication skills, like sales skills, like marketing skills are all high income skills. Okay. They are also high income skills. and not necessarily say a digital marketer or whatever. There are many other high income skills that are not riding on tech, okay? That are riding on day-to-day skills, day-to-day skills, okay? So other soft skills, okay? So, but you could do this. One of the things you want to do as a business person is to, okay, is in this age of AI, what you can do is this, okay? What skills do I need to, this is my business, okay? So you drop, this is my business, and what high income skill can I learn to amplify this business? Right? What high income skills can I learn to amplify this business? So you could do that and you will get something out of it. All right. I hope that helps.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
All right. Thank you. Okay. Beautiful one. So we are at the final stretch of this. If anybody told me 3 hours ago that I'll be able to go this stretch, I will not believe it. But great. I hope I've answered most of our questions. All right. So where do you start from? If you want to get a great financial result, you need to do 3 things. Number one, take empowered actions. Empowered actions. One of them is that you go back, sit down, and build your financial operating system blueprint. That's the first thing. That's the first thing. Take empowered actions. At this time, you should understand that the first thing, if you want to increase your skill, the first thing you should do, sorry, if you want to increase your income, the first thing you should do is invest in yourself. By now, you're asking questions on how can I learn about finances? You're asking questions about how can I become better? You see, sometimes I have had occasions in which people, so recently I had someone in my office who wanted a raise, and the person listed everything she does in the office. And at that point, we were already thinking of taking at least 2 of our roles off our table. By the time we now sat down and said, okay, so we are taking these 2 roles and we are paying like double of what she's currently taking. By the time the conversation was now had with her, there was no reason for a raise. And that's because she had not become a certain kind of person. She had not become a certain kind of person. Even though at the end, I mean, because I wasn't aware before she made that decision, I said there were other leverages you could have used in getting that raise. And I took her through that leverage. Of course, that's now in a conversation. But to take empowered actions, first off, you need to shift from who you are. And it is not about controlling your willpower. But
Mm.
what you want to do at the end of today's class, take an
Okay.
action before you go to bed. Sorry, can you mute yourself, Ezeba, please? Yeah. So you take empowered action right from the end of this class. Don't go back and then say, oh, the next thing you are doing is sleep. If it is filling that blueprint, if it is looking for the skill, I'm searching for that skill that can add more to you. If that is what you want to do, take an empowered action tonight. I want to see in the comment section, I am taking an empowered action tonight. I want to be sure that I'm talking to the right people. I mean, make that commitment, make that promise to yourself and to this house. Oh, okay, sorry. Okay, yeah, well noted. So make a commitment and say that I am taking an empowered action tonight. Drop it in the chat. I am taking an empowered action tonight. So that at the end of this session, you are not just going back to sleep. All right? You are not just going back to sleep you are going back to take an action. Thank you for all those responses. Where are the other responses? I am taking an empowered action tonight. I'll take an empowered action, taking an empowered action tonight. All right. So you take an empowered action. Don't go back to your default mode of going through classes. You see, this class is free. And most times people do not appreciate free classes. That's why most times we keep the real value in the paid classes. All right, thank you, everyone, for that response. I'm taking an empowered action today. So before you go to bed tonight, take an empowered action. All right, search for that program, search for that course. Tonight is a time to take that action. The next thing you must do after this is to use empowering words. Use empowering words. You see, most times we don't use words that empower us. If you remember, if you're a student of the Bible, Genesis chapter 1, from verses 1 to, verses 1 and 2 says, in the beginning, God created, and that takes me to the highest level of value imagination. God created the heavens and the earth. And even when God created the heavens and the earth, the Bible says, and the earth was without form and empty and void. It was without form. It was shapeless. Anything you want to start, anything you're starting from imagination, it starts out shapeless. It says it was without form and voice. And the Bible says, and the Spirit of the Lord was hovering over the surface of the deep. Then the next verse says, and God said, words are triggers. Words are triggers. Words triggers the creative power in you. Words are triggers. Words triggers the creation of that imagination that you had. So instead of saying things like I will, I should, you say things like I will, because you're giving a feedback to yourself that you are empowered. Instead of saying words like I will try, or trying is a disempowering word. So what that does is it tells your brain that your brain has an option. But when you use words like I must do this tonight, I must, I will, must is even a bigger word. Make empowering confessions. Speak empowering words to yourself. Maybe you have said, oh, this to make it in this country is difficult. Empowering words reverses that. Because the truth is this, whoever is succeeding in this country has only one head, two hands, two legs. In fact, some don't even have legs. And they are succeeding. Empowering words. What you speak becomes what you create. When you say things to yourself, they become the creations within which you walk. Words are powerful. With your words, you have to shapen yourself. With your word, you shapen yourself, you shapen your world. And the third thing you must do tonight is to empower your mind. Everything starts with the mind. Everything we have talked about today, can you do them? Yes, you can. But this is it. If your mind does not capture it, if your mind does not understand it, if your brain does not understand it, it will shift it to the future. I say something I can do later. And the word later has killed many dreams more than money has ever done. That word later. They say procrastination is a thief of time. I say no, it is a thief of life. Procrastination snugs life out of you. It steals. And that's because your mind is not empowered. You see, most times we are looking at what we can do. But it is not about what you can do as much as it is about what your mind sees. What your mind sees and what your mind seizes. If your mind has not gotten the message, it becomes false to you. Until your mind gets the message, you will not experience it. So, how do you empower your mind? The Bible says, faith comes by hearing, and hearing by the word of God. How do you empower your mind? You empower your mind through knowledge. Give your mind a dose of knowledge that your mind has no option than to take action. There's a dose of knowledge your mind must receive that it has no that your body has no option than to move. Empower your mind. Empower your mind. Knowledge empowers your mind. Right? What you hear, what you say, what you see, what you feel, they are all communicating to your mind. Most people's mind are running on the reactive operating system, and that's why they're where they are. Most people's mind. So, if you've had an experience in the last 2 years and you are not pleased with it, you have an experience in the last 5 years and you are not pleased with it, you have an experience in the last 10 years, 15 years, and you are not pleased with it, and maybe at some point you have taken that step to try to go beyond it and you are not cutting it, go to where the problem is. It is deeply seated in your mind. Do you know that the mind of a man is even one thing that God himself fears? Genesis chapter 11 verse 6, the Bible says, men had built a tower, and the tower was the Tower of Babel. And the dream was so that they would not spread across the world, which negated what God wanted. Since reading the book of Genesis chapters 1 to 3, you don't see God's foot on earth again. But on this matter, the Bible says that God came down. I said that those people are one, and therefore, whatever they have imagined to do will not be restricted. That means I, God, will not restrict it from them. And God came down. The only thing God had to alter was what? Their language, words. So your mind is as powerful as your current state. The results you're looking for and you're not getting is a result of the limitations on your mind. Starting may be difficult if the mind doesn't get it right. So we've decided to do something. We've decided to jumpstart you in the process of creating your financial operating system, so that you are not resorting to having those struggles. What if we can have 30 days of empowering your mind to make lasting change in your finances? 30 days or 31 days, sorry. You can have 31 days of empowering your mind such that you can make those lasting changes. What if we can do that with you? And aside empowering your mind, we take you through the process of building your automation, of building your system. You are not doing it alone, you are doing it in company of others. We want to do this for you and with you. Therefore, we have structured the 30 days financial architecture accelerator program. So, in those 30 days, you are going to build your mindset every day, systems, and so that you can get your desired outcome. 30 days of working with you. And for those 30 days, every day you are getting a dose that improves your mindset. So, within those 30 days, we will go through a process of mindset mastery. We have identified 30 mindsets that is hampering your financial growth. 30 mindsets. And we are spending one day in looking at that mindset and producing the alternate mindset. Imagine that you're hearing the same thing for 30 days. We're having a time at home and I told my kids, so we're just talking. And then I said something. I said, it doesn't cost. Thank you. I'm ready, sir. Okay. So it doesn't cost anybody to make another person hate you. I just have to say a word every day for the next 30 days, and the person will begin to hate you. In the same way, it doesn't take so much to make you become a valuable person, but what you hear every day for the next 30 days can reshape that person. The foundation is your mindset mastery. Okay. Then we are also going to give you a system installation. So we are going to give you a 90-day blueprint. So even after that 30 days, you have another 60 days in which you have actions, thoughts that you must process that will help you and strengthen you for 1 month, for the period. So what this is saying is this: you are not just being empowered. In fact, one of the things we'll tell you is that the mindset mastery that we're going to take you for 30 days, repeat it for the next 3 months so that you will get it. Myself and Coach Nikki were discussing, and then based on some of the experiences we had last year in classes, we just agreed that we have to repeat a lot of concepts because people don't get it once. But we are going to give you a 90-day blueprint that will improve your mind. The support. You're going to have live coaching sessions, 4 live coaching sessions, and you're going to be kept in a group for accountability. Then we are going to also talk more about the income amplification. We're going to have a workshop for that in one of the 4 group sessions. And guess what? This program is open to only 5 people because this is our test. This is our test. When I say test, okay, these are first fruits. Let me say it that way. Yeah. We've had programs in the past. It has blessed people's lives. It has changed people's lives. This is going to change more people's life. And it's only open for 5 people. One of the slots has been taken. So we have 4 slots left. Anyone who has paid for one of our programs that we have not started, our 10x acceleration, is automatically drafted into this program. Okay, so someone says, I prayed for this program after Coach Nikki came to talk to my team. Awesome. You are drafted. All right. Powerful. Oh, someone says, I see you, accountability partner. Me? Okay, you pay for that too. All right, so financial architectural accelerator, 30 days in which you are going to be loaded up for 30 days. 30 days, yeah? So, now, how much is this program? That's where the cocoa is, okay? So, but this is it. One of the things you must remember is that the biggest investment you can make is in yourself. It pays the highest dividend. Investing in yourself pays the highest dividend. Before you begin to invest in someone else's business, say, I'm going to buy stock, I'm going to buy this, I'm going to buy that. You must first invest in yourself, except you do not trust yourself to be worth investing into. So, choose. All right, so this program would have cost 60,000 naira for many reasons. Number one, the classes are not regular classes, they are trainings, right? That would empower you. But imagine what you can do with just 36,000 naira for this program. So at that, I'm saying this, that what do you do with 1,200 naira daily? Write some things that you do with 1,200 naira. Write it down, okay? Maybe transportation, maybe food. Some people even spend this amount on snack daily. But what if this 1,200 naira can change your finances, can change your life? This is an opportunity for you to change your life. And this program is going to cost only 1,200 naira daily, 36,000 naira for the month of March. This is what this program is. You have been part of our challenges, you've been part of our classes, but I must tell you that this is different. Why is it different? There are going to be hands-on experiences, okay? The life classes are not the same with our usual experiences. It's a lot different. So, but for those that have programs you're running with us already, you are not paying for this program. You are just going to be drafted into this program. Okay? So, but if you are not running a program with us at all, none at all, 36,000 naira. And it is open to 4 people. 4 people are left. So, if you want to be part of it, you must, between today and Sunday, Sunday is the deadline, make a deposit of at least 10,000 naira and balance it up before the beginning of March. So between now and Sunday, now if you ask people that were here last week, the price last week was not 36,000 naira. Next week would not be 36,000 naira. It's going to go a notch higher. Okay. And why is that? The more people begin to enter, because this is not the actual cost of the program. This is for the first set of people that are coming in. Okay. So 36,000 naira, 1,200 naira every day is okay. You asked if we received your payment. Yeah. No. It's not a one-time payment. You can pay 10,000 naira now and then balance up before the beginning of the program. So you can chat up Oreoluwa or myself for how to get in. We need only 4 people. 4 people, 4 slots are left. We don't want to have a lot of people in that class. We don't want to have a lot of people in that class. So chat up, reach out to Ore. I don't have the details. For some reasons, I wasn't my best today. So I wasn't my best today. So I wasn't able to organize a couple of things. Chat Ore, chat me if you can. We'll give you the details of the payment. So guys, that is the end of our class. But before that, next week is going to be awesome. I would want you to, okay, let me see if I can get it. Ore, are you still here? Okay, she's not here. All right, okay. So chat me up or chat Ore. Okay, so next Saturday, I would need you to do something. The reason we made this program free is not because we don't have anything to spend our valuable time on. The reason we did this is because this year we have decided to reach 1,000 people with this knowledge of creating their financial operating system. Even if you are not going in for the paid program, what we know is that what we have shared here should spark a light, a fire in your mind. You have people around you who needs a spark of a fire. Those guys that most times, those urgent 2K guys and all that, they do not know any better. This is a free program, and we want to run this free program till the end of this year. God helping us. but we want as many people as possible to hear this. We are doing this because this nation has suffered a lot from the lack of knowledge that is in this country. And we feel that we can contribute our quota. And what you just need to do is to help someone else understand something they have never seen or experienced in their finances. And to be able to see that the possibilities exist, they are the ones that have not tapped into it. So here is what we want from you. Someone reached out to get you into this program. We want you to reach out to your friends. Let us help them. Some of them, you've been telling them certain things, and it looks like this is way over their heads. Let them come and see where they are at, why they are not progressing, and the fact that they can be helped. We made this free because we want more people to be part of this. So why not add to the stack of the people we can help in this journey? So far, so good. We've been able to help more and more people. We hope we can do much more before this year runs out. And we want you to do that for your friend. This is the only way by which you pay us back for this program. If we decided to be paid based on the standards of our programs, this program should cost you at least 25,000 naira. But we are doing it for free. Please help people. We want to do this for more people. We want more people to shift in their understanding. Even the guy that does not have, let him know that he has a capacity to grow. So, guys, please ensure that this week you reach out to a friend that needs this substance. And some of us have invited people, they did not show up today. We want them to show up next week. Please just tell them and let them be part of this. As we're helping you grow, we want to help others. Next week, if you will testify, today's session was different from last week. Next week is going to be different. Coach Nikki is going to present. I'm also going to show up. And Coach Nikki is going to work on your mindset. Let that surgery begin next Saturday. And until we come your way, ensure you reach out and get the account number and make the deposit. Only 4 slots left for March, our first ever set. And I hope that at the end of that session, you will be a lot better for it. Thank you so much for being part of this. I love you. The crew also loves you. And we look forward to having a different experience. To you having a different experience. All right, Coach Nikki, the becoming coach. What was that next week? Thank you so much. Really love you guys. Do have a pleasant night.